All right, so it is Tuesday, and I'm going to read a book about becoming a good creature.
There are so many things on the cover of our story. So this is our cover. It's like the front of our book. We have the title, and then we have the author and the illustrator who drew the pictures. But look at this picture. There's so many different things up there. What do you see on there?
You can learn a lot from what the cover of a book looks like.
Yeah. So I think in this book, we're going to see probably, this looks like a little girl, and I think she's going to have to be thinking about, or she's going to be doing something with all of these different animals. So something with maybe a lion or a monkey. I think this is like a cheetah or some sort of dog. It's like an octopus and some fish and birds and maybe a meerkat and ostrich, peacocks.
The back of the book.
Oh yes, and there's also pictures on the back of the book.
So the back of the book says, "School is not the only place to find a teacher." And there's a picture of her with a horse, a dog, a spider, looks like some cubs, baby bear,
A dog.
dolphin, and I wonder what that is.
Looks like a tent almost.
Yeah, it does.
So in a book, before you even open the book, you can look at the front and the back, and it can tell you a little bit about the book.
And you learn so much.
You can, yeah. So we think it's going to be about this woman or girl doing all of these different things with animals.
Sometimes when you read a book and it has this protective layer on it, you can take it off as long as you can.
Yeah. So I'm excited to find out what actually happens in this book.
School is not the only place to find a teacher. Sometimes we meet teachers in the forest, or in the barn, or in the ocean, or right in our own house. Some of my teachers have had 2 legs, while others have had 4 or even 8. But all have taught me something important about how to be a good creature in the world. Find good teachers. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a dog. I wanted to run really fast and see in the dark. I wanted to understand the sounds of my neighborhood, both wild and tame, but nobody could show me how. Until Molly. Molly was only a puppy when she came to live with us, but she was gifted with special animal powers. So I watched her, I listened, and I learned that if we pay attention, the world outside beckons us. Even before I started school, Molly was my first teacher.
So Molly, the dog, taught her kind of how to be a dog.
Patience and
Yeah.
how to watch. Discover your passions. When I grew up, I still hungered to learn about animals. In Australia, a different country, I met birds who stood almost as tall as I did. Emus can't fly, but they run like the wind. What were their lives like? I wanted to know. So I moved into a tent into the wild to find out. And for many months, I followed 3 emus, and I watched them like I watched Molly. They showed me where they traveled and what they ate, and I followed them. They also showed me my own path. I would go to the places where animals lived, and each would be a new teacher, and I would write their stories.
So those birds we talked about, they're emus.
I also learned how to respect others. Next, I went to Africa to meet some gorillas. I hiked in the mountains for a long time. It was nothing like my home in New Hampshire, and as I stopped to catch my breath, I saw a person running toward me. Why? Because a gorilla was chasing him. But I didn't run. I crouched low and I looked at the ground, as if bowing before I came. The gorilla stood and beat his chest and let out a giant roar. And when he saw that I understood that he was the boss, he turned and calmly led me to meet his family. And ever since that day, I've respected any animal that hosts me in their house. So she showed that she was going to be his friend and be nice to him. So he took her to meet his family.
Yeah, so if she would have stood there kind of big and strong, do you think she would have met his family? No, you got to be respectful. She was respectful because in the jungle, usually sometimes the gorillas can be like the kings of the jungle too. They're the big monkeys.
And they protect their families.
Yeah.
So he was protecting his family from somebody who looked a little bit different than him.
Yeah. So it's important to respect others.
Don't be afraid. In India, I met tigers. In Africa, lions.
I would be afraid.
In the rivers of South America, I swam with piranhas and electric eels.
Oh, no.
In the ocean, I met sharks. None of them ever hurt me.
Oh, I would be so afraid, though.
You know, these animals are all a little bit scary because they can hurt you. So you do need to be careful, like when you're in the ocean. You have to watch out for sharks.
I wonder how she wasn't afraid.
She respected them.
Just like with the gorilla.
So she left them alone, and they left her alone. So it's like you don't swat at a bee, or else the bee will sting you.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait patiently. I traveled to Australia, again, this time to meet a different bird. The cassowary, like the emu, is a tall bird who runs instead of flies. I was eager to meet one and spent a week walking through their rainforest home. And an hour before I had to leave, I went one more time to say goodbye to the beautiful empty jungle. A cassowary stepped out from the trees before me. He was so close to me I could see his eyelashes. She waited patiently. When she walked through the forest, she didn't see anything.
Yeah, it might be hard to wait, but sometimes you have to because something good will come
of it, yeah. Make your own family. At home, animals continued to teach me. My husband and I didn't plan on having babies, but soon a baby came to us, a baby pig. We named him Christopher Hogwood. 2 little girls and their mother moved in next door. They saw Chris in the backyard and came to visit every day. He was a very happy pig. We weren't at all related, but Christopher showed us that it didn't matter. We became one big family. My husband, our border collie Tess, our hens, and 2 little girls and their mom. One very happy pig.
Yeah, so like we've learned in school, all families are different.
Yeah. So sometimes animals are in your family too. Like I have a cat, Daphne, I've talked about.
Yeah.
She's my family.
Yeah. I have a dog, Nala. She's my family.
See for yourself. I'd heard it all. Hyenas are ugly. Hyenas are lazy. Hyenas are thieves. They steal food from lions. Everyone said so, even the Lion King.
That's true.
Then I visited a hyena den.
But they look so cute in the pictures.
The fluffy cubs wrestled like playing puppies. Mothers tenderly licked their babies, and they weren't stealing food from lions. More often, the lions stole food from them. Hyenas reminded me that what everyone says is not always true.
So I might tell Miss Sierra, pudding is the best dessert ever. Well, Miss Sierra needs to find that out for herself. Because she might not think so.
Love little lies. I never gave spiders much thought until I met one in South America who was almost as big as a chipmunk.
What? Oh my goodness, that's
She
huge.
was a sleek black tarantula with toes tipped in pink like she had a fancy pedicure. She lived in a potted plant at a nature center. We learned that she was a gentle tarantula who can live for 30 years. We named her Clarabelle and let her walk across our hands each night. We think she liked us. We sure liked her. And Clarabelle showed us that little lives matter as much as big ones.
So all the lives of the animals matter. It really doesn't matter what kind of, what kind of animal it is.
Learn forgiveness. One Christmas morning, I found an intruder in our hen house, a white-coated weasel. Now, I saw a weasel this weekend.
Oh, you
I
did?
did. I went hunting, and the only animal I saw was something called a fisher cat. They're like a ginormous weasel.
They're very big.
They're very large weasels. They're kind of scary.
And they make weird noises.
Though tiny, weasels are fierce. They catch and eat animals much bigger than themselves. They even eat chickens.
Oh no, her chickens.
Towering above him, I looked into the weasel's black eyes. Fearlessly, the little weasel stared back. How brave he was, and how beautiful in his snowy winter coat. I was dazzled by his determination and couldn't be angry at his will to survive.
So he wasn't doing it on purpose. He was doing it to live.
Find common ground. Octavia had 8 arms, 3 hearts, no bones. She lived in the water, and I lived on land. What could we possibly have in common? We both liked to play. As different as we are, we became friends. So she was talking about an octopus with 8 arms.
So even though you might be different from a friend in your classroom, you might have something in common.
Trust tomorrow. The little girls next door moved away. Our pig grew old, our dog grew old, and it felt like everything was ending. Then one day I got a phone call from our vet. He told me that the neighbor's border collie had just had pups. They were all valuable dogs with important work to do, herding sheep and cows and pigs when they grew up. All the babies already had farm families waiting for them. All but one. One puppy who had a blind eye. Would I take him, do you think?
I think she would take him because she respects and likes all the difference in things and different animals.
She loves things that are different. Thurber taught me the best lesson of all. Even in the darkest times, there may be a wonderful new teacher waiting for you right around the corner. That was very sweet.
And then look, if you look at that towards the end of the book, there's some pictures of the author.
Her with her dog, her border collie, when she was a little girl. With the Octavia.
Octavia.
With a tiger and her pig.
The pig.
All right. That is the end of our story.
So great. I really like that story. That was such a good story.
Always be nice to the things around you.
That is such a great story. And it might not just be animals. You can learn anything. You can learn things from the animals and just to be a good person.
Yeah.
All right, friends. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.